everyone, and welcome back to Chill English Channel. I'm Sophia, and I'm so happy you decided to spend some time with us today.
And I'm Jake. Whether you are relaxing at home, driving to work, walking through your neighborhood, or simply taking a quiet break, thank you for listening.
We hope this conversation helps you improve your English in a calm and enjoyable way. There is no pressure here. Just listen, relax, and let the language come naturally.
Today, we have a topic that every person can understand because every person has experienced it at some point in life.
We are going to talk about feelings, emotions, and why it is sometimes difficult to talk about what is happening inside us.
This conversation is designed for English learners around the B1 to C1 level, so you will hear natural English with useful vocabulary and realistic expressions.
Some sentences are simple, while others are a little longer, just like real conversations between friends.
And remember, you do not need to understand every single word perfectly understood. Understanding the general meaning is already wonderful progress.
Before we begin, we would like to ask you one simple question.
While you listen today, think quietly about this. When was the last time you told someone honestly how you were feeling?
Maybe it was yesterday.
Maybe it was last week.
Or maybe you cannot remember because you usually keep your feelings to yourself.
There's no right or wrong answer. Just notice what comes into your mind.
Talking about feelings is not always easy, but it is an important part of communication and healthy relationships.
Many people learn grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, but they never learn how to express emotions clearly.
That's true. You can know thousands of English words, but if you cannot say, "I'm worried" or "I'm disappointed," conversations may still feel difficult.
Feelings connect people much more than perfect grammar does.
And when you can express your emotions, people understand you better, and you understand yourself better too.
Jake, can I ask you something personal?
Of course, go ahead. When you were younger, did you find it easy to talk about your feelings?
Honestly, not at all. I usually believed I had to solve every problem by myself.
Why did you think that?
I thought that talking about my feelings would make me look weak, so whenever I felt stressed or sad, I simply stayed quiet.
I think many people can relate to that.
Yes, and the interesting thing is that staying quiet did not actually solve anything.
What usually happened instead?
My thoughts became louder inside my head. Small problems slowly started to feel much bigger than they really were.
That happens to many people. Sometimes silence makes our imagination stronger than reality.
Exactly. Then one day, I finally talked to a close friend, and after just one conversation, I felt much lighter.
Did your friend solve your problems?
No, not really. The problems were still there, but I was no longer carrying them alone.
I think that is a very important difference.
Yes, sometimes we do not need perfect advice. We simply need someone who listens carefully.
Now it is your turn to ask me something.
All right. Sophia, are you someone who talks about feelings easily?
It depends on the situation. With people I trust, yes, but with strangers, I usually need more time before I feel comfortable.
That sounds very natural.
I also learned something interesting over the years.
What did you learn?
I realized that I often said, "I'm fine," even when I was not fine at all.
I think almost everyone has done that.
Yes, someone asks, "How are you?" And without thinking, we answer, "I'm good," even if we had a terrible day.
It almost becomes an automatic response.
Exactly. But sometimes, with someone we trust, it can be helpful to answer a little more honestly.
Maybe saying something like, "I've had a difficult day," or "I'm feeling a little stressed today."
Those simple sentences can completely change a conversation.
They also give the other person a chance to support you.
Let's explain an important word we have already used several times.
The word is emotion.
An emotion is a feeling inside you, such as happiness, sadness, fear, excitement, disappointment, or hope.
Emotions are a normal part of being human. Everyone experiences them.
Some emotions feel comfortable.
Others feel uncomfortable, but that does not mean they are bad.
Feeling nervous before an important interview is normal.
Feeling sad after losing something important is normal too.
Even feeling angry sometimes is normal.
What matters is how we understand those emotions and how we express them.
Many people try to ignore difficult feelings because they hope the feelings will disappear.
Sometimes they do disappear with time, but sometimes they simply stay hidden until another difficult situation brings them back.
That is why learning to recognize emotions is so valuable.
Instead of saying, "I feel bad," you can become more specific.
You might say, I feel disappointed because my plan didn't work.
Or, "I'm feeling anxious because I have an important meeting tomorrow."
When you give your feeling a name, it often becomes easier to understand.
It's almost like turning on a light in a dark room. The room doesn't change, but suddenly you can see everything more clearly.
I really like that comparison. Another useful thing is to remember that emotions are temporary.
Happiness changes.
Stress changes.
Confidence changes.
Even fear changes with time and experience.
Sometimes people believe they must always feel positive.
But real life doesn't work that way. Healthy people experience many different emotions.
The goal is not to avoid feelings. The goal is to understand them and communicate them honestly.
Now that we have talked about understanding our emotions, let's think about something else. Why is it sometimes so difficult to tell another person how we really feel?
That is a great question. I think one reason is fear. We worry that people might judge us or misunderstand us.
Yes, many people are afraid of hearing something negative after they open their hearts.
They might think, "What if this person thinks I'm weak?" Or, "What if they don't take me seriously?"
Those thoughts are very common, but they often stay only inside our minds.
In reality, many people appreciate honesty because it helps them understand us better.
I remember a situation at work a few years ago. I was feeling overwhelmed, but I kept smiling because I didn't want anyone to notice.
Did anyone realize how you were feeling?
Not at first. Everyone thought I was doing perfectly well because I never said anything different.
That shows how difficult it can be to guess another person's feelings.
Exactly. Then one afternoon, my manager asked if everything was okay.
What did you say?
For a few seconds, I almost answered, "Everything is fine," like I always did.
That old habit again.
Yes, but this time I stopped and said, "Actually, I've been feeling a little overwhelmed lately."
That must have felt strange at first.
It did. My heart was beating faster because I wasn't used to being so honest.
And how did your manager react?
Much better than I expected. She thanked me for telling her and asked how she could help.
That is a wonderful example. Sometimes our biggest fear never becomes reality.
We often imagine the worst possible response.
But many people are kinder than we expect.
Jake, have you ever experienced something similar?
Yes, I remember a time when one of my closest friends seemed unusually quiet for several weeks.
Did you think something was wrong?
I wasn't sure. I didn't want to ask because I thought it might be too personal.
So what happened?
One evening, we went for a walk together, and after a long silence, I simply asked, "How have you really been?"
I like that question because it sounds sincere.
It does. And after I asked, my friend looked at me for a moment and said, "Honestly, I've been struggling."
That must have been an emotional conversation.
It was. We talked for almost 2 hours.
Did you give a lot of advice?
Surprisingly, no. Most of the time, I just listened.
Sometimes listening is more valuable than giving solutions.
Exactly. People often need understanding before they need advice.
Listening is a skill that many people underestimate.
Yes, good listening means paying attention without immediately thinking about your own answer.
It also means allowing small moments of silence.
Some people become uncomfortable when there is silence in a conversation.
But silence is not always a bad thing.
Sometimes silence gives people enough time to organize their thoughts.
Let's imagine a simple situation.
All right.
Suppose your friend says, "I've been feeling very stressed recently."
One possible response would be, "I'm sorry to hear that. Would you like to talk about it?"
That is kind because it gives the other person a choice.
Exactly. You are inviting them to speak instead of forcing them.
Another helpful sentence could be, "That sounds difficult."
It's short, but it shows empathy.
Empathy is another useful word for today's episode.
Empathy means trying to understand another person's feelings, even if you have never experienced exactly the same situation.
Empathy does not mean you always agree with someone.
It simply means you try to see the situation from their point of view.
That makes conversations much warmer and more meaningful.
There is another expression that people often use.
Which one?
I'm here for you.
I really like that sentence.
It is simple, but it tells the other person they are not alone.
Sometimes those 4 words are more powerful than a long speech.
I completely agree.
Let's also talk about the difference between talking and complaining.
That's an interesting topic because people sometimes confuse the two.
Talking usually means repeating problems again and again without looking for understanding or change.
While talking about your feelings means sharing your emotions honestly and respectfully.
There's nothing wrong with saying, "I'm feeling frustrated today."
Or, I'm disappointed because things didn't go as I planned.
Those sentences help people understand what is happening inside you.
They also help you understand yourself more clearly.
Another challenge is vocabulary.
Yes, many English learners know only a few feeling words.
They often say, "I'm happy," "I'm sad," or "I'm angry."
Those words are useful, but English offers many more possibilities.
For example, instead of saying, "I'm sad," you might say, "I'm disappointed,"
Or, I'm lonely.
or "I'm heartbroken,"
Instead of saying, I'm happy, you could say, I'm grateful.
or "I'm excited."
Or even, I'm proud.
Every word describes a slightly different emotion.
Learning these words helps you express yourself more naturally.
Let's review a few useful expressions together.
You can say, I'm feeling nervous about tomorrow.
"I'm really excited about my new job."
You can say, I've been feeling a little lonely lately.
"I'm proud of what I accomplished."
You can say, I'm grateful for your support.
These are all sentences that native speakers use in everyday life.
And the more you practice them, the easier they become to use naturally.
One more thing I have learned is that honesty creates stronger relationships.
I agree. Perfect people are difficult to connect with, but honest people are much easier to trust.
When we allow others to see our real emotions, we also give them permission to do the same.
That is one of the best gifts we can give another person.
We have talked about understanding emotions, expressing them honestly, and listening with empathy. Before we finish today's conversation, let's think about how talking about our feelings can slowly change our everyday lives.
Yes, because emotional communication is not only useful during difficult moments, it can also make happy moments even more meaningful.
When we share good news with someone, we often feel that happiness twice.
And when we share something painful, the weight often becomes a little lighter.
That reminds me of an old saying, "Joy grows when it is shared, and sadness becomes smaller when it is shared."
I really like that idea. It reminds us that people are not meant to go through life completely alone.
Of course, that does not mean we have to tell everyone everything.
No, healthy communication also means knowing who deserves your trust.
Trust is something that grows over time.
Usually through many small conversations, honest actions, and mutual respect.
If someone listens carefully, keeps your confidence, and treats your feelings with kindness, trust becomes stronger.
But if someone constantly judges or ignores your emotions, it's natural to become more careful.
Learning where to open your heart is just as important as learning how.
Exactly. Being emotionally open doesn't mean sharing every private thought with every person you meet.
It means choosing honesty with wisdom.
I think that balance becomes easier as we gain more life experience.
Jake, if someone wants to become better at talking about feelings, where should they begin?
I would begin with very small steps.
What kind of steps?
Instead of saying only, I'm okay, try adding one more sentence.
For example?
I'm a little tired today because I didn't sleep well.
Or, I'm feeling excited because I finally finished a project.
Those small details help conversations become more genuine.
And they also encourage other people to be more open.
Another simple habit is checking in with yourself during the day.
That sounds interesting.
You can pause for just 1 minute and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now?
Sometimes we are so busy that we never stop to notice our emotions.
Exactly. We move from one task to another without asking ourselves how we're actually doing.
Even naming one emotion can make a difference.
You might realize, I'm not angry, I'm actually disappointed.
Or, I'm not lazy today, I'm simply exhausted.
Understanding the real emotion often helps us respond more wisely.
Another helpful habit is writing your feelings in a notebook.
Many people call that journaling.
You do not need to write a long story every day.
Just a few honest sentences can already help organize your thoughts.
Sometimes writing is easier than speaking, and later, when you feel ready, those written thoughts may help you explain your feelings to someone else.
Let's review some useful vocabulary from today's episode.
The first word is emotion. An emotion is a feeling such as happiness, fear, sadness, excitement, or hope.
Next, we have empathy. Empathy means trying to understand another person's feelings from their point of view.
We also learn the word overwhelmed.
If you feel overwhelmed, you feel like you have too many responsibilities or emotions to manage comfortably.
Another useful word is vulnerable.
Vulnerable means allowing people to see your real thoughts or feelings, even when it feels a little scary.
We also use the word trust.
Trust means believing that someone will be honest, kind, and dependable.
Another important expression is to open up.
When you open up, you begin sharing your true feelings with someone.
Finally, we talked about honesty.
Honesty means expressing the truth with kindness and respect.
These words are useful not only for English, but also for building stronger relationships.
If you want to practice, choose 3 of these words and create your own sentences.
Even better, try using one of those sentences in a real conversation this week.
It does not need to be a deep conversation.
It can be as simple as telling a friend, "I've been feeling really grateful lately."
Or saying, "I'm a little nervous about tomorrow."
Small moments of honesty often become the beginning of meaningful connections.
Before we finish, we would like to ask you one more question.
Think about someone you trust.
Is there something you have wanted to tell that person but have been keeping inside?
You do not have to answer right now.
Just take a quiet moment and think about it.
Maybe today is not the right day.
Maybe tomorrow will be better.
What matters is remembering that your feelings are real, they matter, and they deserve to be understood.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us and for practicing your English through meaningful conversations.
Thank you for listening. Take good care of yourself, and we'll see you again in the next episode of Chill English Channel.